The NFL Combine is over, which means more mock drafts for all of us. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing a live mock draft for the Detroit Lions. What do I mean by live? We will be acting as the front office for the Lions during this mock draft simulator, going through all their selections. So while we're doing that, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on the picks and what you would want to see the Lions do at each selection. And hit that subscribe button and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. Now, Ryan, let's pull up PFF here. So let's quickly recap a couple of the picks before. So Matthew Golden going to the Packers, Walter Nolan going to the Vikings, Derek Harmon going to the Texans, Loveland going to the Rams, and then Kelvin Banks falling all the way down to the Baltimore Ravens. So here, you got a running back spot here. You got defensive line guys. You got guard guys here as well. And I think it's a pretty good scenario so far. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's just see what some of these other players are looking at.
Uh,
And to me, when I think of the Lions, I do think maybe getting some like interior depth, like maybe Kevin Zeitler doesn't get re-signed, so you want to make sure you bring in that competitiveness. But I still feel like you go look at their healthy roster as a whole, and I think there's very few holes on this roster. So it's going to be
yeah,
interesting on how they navigate the draft. I will say, just looking at it, I could see them. I could see them going into your offensive line like a Gray Zabel or a Tyler Booker. What are your thoughts overall?
I could see them doing that. My one thing is we've done Gray Zabel 2 out of the last 3 teams. The
True.
other is I see Nick Scorton there, and man, I love Nick Scorton. And one of the guys that I throughout this process have really started to uh, like really enjoy watching is Shamar Stewart. Part of that is I think you go look at Nick Scorton and just what this defensive line they and like ask them to do there at Texas A&M. They were not necessarily always put in advantageous pass rushing spots. And Nick Scorton is 20 years old. He's 6'4", 280 pounds. He could probably lose a little bit of weight. Yeah. But with that being said, he is stout against the run. When he was able to pin his ears back and get upfield, man, did he do that? And I just feel like he's a really, really good prospect, and he's going to fall just because he is only 20 years old. He's not fully developed as an athlete, and you're going to compare him to guys like Shamar Stewart. And I say you, not you, but like the
No,
draft
I know.
community as a whole. But like I feel like that's probably the pick. In my eyes, you can address interior offensive line later on day 2.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Let's go Nick Scorton here because
And
I mean you technically do have Marcus Davenport. He's a free agent. I'm curious what's going to happen with Zadarius Smith. But even then, too, if they keep Zadarius Smith, it's not like he's going to be there long term for the Lions as well. And so Nick Scorton can come in into that replacement. So I think
yeah,
another spot, and now especially now that I'm seeing it here too, is Carlton Davis is a free agent. Then they do have several guys that are free agents as well. They've been retooling that secondary and been doing a good job. I like Terry Arnold, Brian Branch, even Kirby Joseph as well. So I think Darian Porter could be interesting uh,
mhm,
um, selection that they end up going with there. Uh, I don't think Ursery will be there. I also don't think that they need Ursery as right now, even though Taylor Decker can sometimes battle injury issues as well.
yeah. Donovan Jackson, I think, would be uh, the pick if you want to go offensive line. I do agree. Maybe getting Porter, especially if they don't bring back Carlton Davis, would be a good one. What linebackers? I feel like their next pick might be the sweet spot for linebackers, but um,
Yeah, Birch, Bosa
yeah,
would
Chris
be
Paul.
Chris Paul. Let's do. I actually like that idea of Donovan Jackson. Let's do Donovan
Okay,
Jackson
let's do
here.
John. Yeah, he played a little. He played out of position at left tackle, but by the end of the season, he was playing like one of the best left tackles in college football. So some positional versatility there.
Yes.
Um, I like that, and then I think too, you bring him into that Dan Campbell mindset. Uh,
Yeah.
I think he'll thrive in that type of environment. So, and
Let's
as you like to
see
joke,
here.
he just won a national championship, so he has the winning mentality.
He's got the
Uh,
winning. I mean, he's a winner. He knows how to
yeah.
win.
uh, so here, oh man, So, this is just a larger draft point as a whole. I go through and I look at this, and it's like, I feel so much better about making pick 101 than I do pick, like, 28, and I don't know if I just feel like I'm getting better value or if I just, like, don't see that big of a difference from, like, from these players to the players 60 picks ahead of them.
Well,
Like, I just
it's a lot less risk.
and
It's
that's
like
fair.
if you
That's
pick a
fair.
fourth round guy and he's a bust, no one's gonna remember. If you pick 4th
Yeah.
overall and he's a bust, then
Yeah. That's fair.
like,
That's
people
fair.
are gonna remember. So, it's a fair point, though.
But I just like I don't know. I feel like at that first round pick, I'm expecting these guys to come in and do so much where it's like these guys, it's like, I just need you to come in and do this one thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, and if you can do that, then you can grow into other things. But that's a tangent. Anyways,
So
back to the Lions.
so if there was a spot where I think Harold Fannin could maybe fit, because they have Sam Laporta, who's their traditional tight end as well, but Harold Fannon's gonna be kinda that slot guy as a whole. And I'm just thinking out loud here, and
I
normally what
don't
I think isn't that great. So, but
I don't
I'm just
necessarily love it. I feel like Sam Laporta kind of already is that. And also Harold
that's fair.
Fannon's athletic testing and his senior bowl were not nearly as good, I think, as a lot of people had hoped.
That's fair.
So, I'm not sold on that aspect of it. I actually was gonna maybe suggest going with like an Aeneas Peebles, like a pass rushing defensive tackle, and kind of put him in between Bosa or not Bosa, Hutchinson, and then your newly added Nick Scordon
Yeah.
there. I think that would be fun to watch. You could go with like Kobe Bryant, or maybe you see whoever falls to you at 133 and you take a corner there.
So
Um,
that's my thing is I don't think a lot of corners are gonna fall to them. This is typically
okay.
kind of where we've seen a good run on corner. So if you're looking for an outside corner, I know you like Noel Williams, Kobe Bryant could be another guy,
Yeah.
Noah Dotson as well,
Jacob
Jacob Parrish.
Parrish is there if you wanna go that route. That's
Let's do that.
probably he's highest on this board. He's
Yeah.
probably in this tier though of corner.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. Let's recap the 3 picks so far here. So we've
yeah,
gone Nick Scordon, edge rusher, Donovan Jackson, offensive lineman. He's probably going to kick in the guard, and then Jacob Parrish as well.
yeah,
I think here would be interesting too. Let's see. This could be where you get your linebacker. I think Jack Kaiser would
yeah,
fit in well. We could do
yeah.
that.
Barrett Carter would also. Jack Kaiser, yeah, they're both about the same size. Uh, so
Let's go Jack Kaiser. He has a
okay.
winning mentality, except in national championship games.
All right,
So, and
perfect.
he's closer to Detroit.
Okay.
Long
All
time
right.
in between picks now
Yeah.
from 131. It's funny now too. Now we're getting to the teams that are making the playoffs and the playoff teams. It's actually kind of harder to do this because trying to find holes to fill and improve on is
Well, especially when they
difficult.
have 8 picks, it's like I don't even know 8 spots that like they need players for.
Well, as
So,
I said, when healthy, you look at this
yeah.
Lions roster. I would say maybe I'm being picky. Maybe get like another outside receiver that could help out, like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. Like you have your slot guy, your do
Mhm.
it all like slot superstar. You got Jameson Williams as your speedster. They would maybe want to get an X receiver. So that's actually interesting. Like who is available here. I will
Yeah.
say it would be too much of an overlap. As Thornton was literally taken right before this pick. PFF is a mind reader, but would that be too much of an overlap with James Williams and his speed versus what
No,
Thornton could
'cause
do?
I I mean, I heard this analogy once just, like, watching a YouTube video, but it's like, I think you want your wide receiver room built out like a basketball team. So you might have some guys that, like, their positions might overlap slightly, but, like, Thornton is gonna be, like, a more true outside guy where Jameson Williams is moved around the
He
field a
can
little
move
bit
around a
more.
bunch. So,
Yeah.
real
Uh,
quick, have we done defensive interior? Because I will say they just have a lot of guys that are going to
no,
be
we
free
have
agents.
not.
They have drafted Makai Wingo and Broderick Martin, but I'm thinking like if you see Zeke Biggers there, I think that would be interesting to be in. And of
Yeah,
course, they have
he's
a lot of
not gonna
guys are free
provide very
agents.
much in terms of the pass rush, um, but
Let's see
you there?
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was listening. I was just thinking
Oh.
of I was listening and thinking. Two things I don't do that often. So once again here, so we've done the edge, we've done the offensive line, then we've
Mhm.
done the corner and the linebacker here. What skill position players are available here? We did pass
Let's see.
catchers.
Wide receiver, tight end. Caden Prather would be like a Tim Patrick style X that I would like
Let's do that
there.
because both Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson are free agents.
Mhm.
And I think I would like to see Tim Patrick come back, but even then, too, you're going to need to start preparing for life after him as well.
Yeah. I, I
So,
I like that. I think that's good, and he's different than what they currently have in Amon-Ra
exactly.
St. Brown and Jameson Williams. So,
Yeah.
I think that's a good move. I think that's like his floor though. I'm higher on Caden Prather, I think, than like most people. You go look that Maryland offense was so odd. And yeah, he has some development to definitely do, but I do think he can play X receiver in the NFL. But another tangent in this video. Here at 227 for the Detroit Lions. So you have edge, offensive line, corner, linebacker, and wide receiver. Um, yeah, defensive interior might be.
Might be more of a spot.
Yeah, Ty Robinson is a little undersized. I think I guess he was. I thought he was like 280, but could be 310. Howard Cross is definitely a little undersized.
But at this point, though, too, in the draft. And so
Yeah,
let's go with one of these guys here, or maybe even Nazir Stackhouse. We haven't done him
yeah,
yet.
yeah. Let's do Nazir Stackhouse. He's going to be
Perfect.
much more of the run stuffing defensive tackle, but again, at this point in the draft, there's not you can't really ask for too much more.
Yeah.
So,
And then the
and
pick
then
again.
second to last pick.
I'm almost then
Um,
thinking, too, going like a Malachi Moore
yeah,
as
let's do
well.
that. Get somebody to add some depth on the back end of that defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So doing that here and then wrapping up near Mr. Irrelevant, about
But
10 picks or
not
so away.
yeah. Um,
Theo Walker, French Charles, Xavier. Thinking,
do you get another edge rusher to put in rotation in
yeah, let's
Elijah
do another
Alston?
edge rush.
Okay.
Do another edge rusher here.
All right, let's do
So
Elijah Alston.
that's what I know. I've already said this 2 times. So I'll say it one final time. It's like looking at this Lions roster. The biggest thing, the biggest question mark for the Lions, the biggest thing that they have already filled these positions, but just how are they going to translate is going to be how are they going to look in the new coordinator system. I
Yeah.
mean, we saw them under Ben Johnson and how successful this offense was. Saw them under Aaron Glenn and how great this defense was. I think the defense will be similar as compared to the past couple of years, just because the new defensive coordinator was their former linebackers coach, whose name is escaping me. But the offensive coordinator is coming from a different team. Um,
Mhm.
the Denver guy, John Morton. So it's like, what's his strategy going to be
Yeah.
bringing into the
Well,
system?
that was kind of what sucked also about losing both your coordinators was uh so Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, the defensive line coach went to the Patriots, and then Ben Johnson obviously went to the Bears. He took a defensive assistant that was going to be I think stepping up as well in his role, and then also Aaron Glenn took whoever was going to be the offensive coordinator to the Jets to be the offensive coordinator. So
And
like
I'm
they
pretty
lost.
sure Antoine Randall followed Ben Johnson to the Bears.
Yeah, so it's not like they just lost the
Yeah.
coordinators; they lost like their next two options to replace each guy also.
Yeah.
So that is probably the biggest question I think coming out of the offseason. That being said, from a personnel standpoint, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard for them to not be at least a playoff team again, just because this team is so good. And granted, they're in a really good division, but I think if they continue to address the trenches, they don't really need skill position guys. They have Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. As long as this team doesn't get decimated with injuries like they did in 2024, I feel like that they should be okay.
Yeah.
So
I think so too. So they still got they still have a lot of good talent, and it's going to be fun watching them again, as
yeah.
always.
So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of this Detroit Lions 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? And then we'll see you guys next time.